Okay, so that was like a more general or broad example, and I would even call it a simpler example because the way that I use this concept for myself is okay. I'm gonna give you a personal example. So the word human being, right? We all have our own connotations and understandings of what that means to us, and a lot of it is we all have the same, understandings or whatever the case may be. But personally, I've found the way that people look at it is, I can say, more limiting than I like to apply to myself, right? Because again, your words have power. So, if, for example, a human being, this, not everybody has this, and I don't even see this in a lot of people, but I see it in enough to where it made me want to do something different for myself. But if, for example, a human being is this fragile, weak, you know what I'm saying, like mm, less than type of being, or you know what I'm saying, almost animal type of thing. If that's the case, then the power of those words that make the power of those words in that definition have an effect on you, right? So it's got a lot to do with your perception of what a word means, also. But since I can perceive some level of understanding to where me personally, I start to like hear that word in certain contexts, and I'm like, you know, but I got to keep that to myself usually. So that led me to redefine what it is, right? So, and in this case for me, I ended up it ended up playing out to where I redefined what I call it when I'm referring to a human being within myself, and the automatically, because I changed the word, the definition behind that, right? So the word that I changed it to for myself is uh well, I got like a shorter way to say it, but it's basically a planetary entity. And that's what a human is. And then when I'm referring to myself, because I believe, you're not just the human, right? And it's another part of why I like kind of got away from the word human within my own understandings, is because it implies just this physical thing. And from my experience, my revelations, my understandings, my learnings, I've come to realize you're not just a human being, right? You're a soul or a spirit, or you're this thing that lives within this human being or experiences life as this human being, right? So again, I call it now, or I've come to call it, a planetary entity. And when I'm referring to, let's say, myself, for example, or somebody else, I call it a planetary entity operator, right? So even just those words, uh, uh, when I'm saying the words planetary entity, that brings up the other words behind it, or in other words, a definition of not just this common conception of a human, or some type of animal or something. Now that brings about a deeper sense of almost mystery, but more reverence, right? More connection in it, right? Like, you can look at a human and think it's separate from its environment, but if you say planetary entity, that ties the entity itself to a planetary experience, right? Like, and it also connects it to the other entities on the planet. You know what I'm saying? So it's less of a limited version of a human. It's more connected. That's some of the repercussions that it does for me, is I start to, when I use that word or phrase or whatever you want to call it, I'm seeing things differently because it's got a different definition to me than the word human, right? Same thing when I say planetary entity operator. Now I'm looking at a person and I'm saying to myself, this is a planetary entity operator. And now I'm not just seeing the meat suit, right? I'm seeing inside them in a sense, or really I'm seeing them, and I'm seeing the operator. It's almost like you look next to you, you in a car driving, and you stop at a stoplight, you look next to you. You don't just see a car, right? You see the person in the car, but you say, okay, there's that person, or this person next to me, but it's a person in a car. You just, because you understand the situation, you combine it. You combine the person in the car as one. And it's a similar situation to when I say for myself planetary, or when I'm in my head with it or whatever the case may be, or even some people I can say it to, but some won't understand it. I gotta explain it. So yeah, but but anyway, like that's kind of how it is now, instead of just saying human and kind of neglecting or forgetting the spirit part or the soul part, and that's just part of like the common conceptions and definitions of what we've been told a human is. When I say planetary entity operator, right, I can't even disconnect it. Like that's like me saying the person that's in the car. You know what I'm saying? Like I can see the whole thing, the body and the spirit and soul as one. You know what I'm saying? And it's got a lot of repercussions in the way I can treat people, the way I can see people, the way I can talk to people, interact with people, all this other stuff. Those words having power. Part of the power is to affect or change or alter my reality. You know what I'm saying? And that's just a personal example for me on a different level. But because see, now I'm not just changing the definition, I'm giving the word human a whole new definition, and it works because it's personal to me and I've defined it, right? I've used my power of words to decide which words together mean one thing, which ideas mean human, which ideas mean planetary entity. You know what I'm saying? And that's my point, is the power of your words can affect your reality, but it goes so much deeper because your thoughts and most of the communication is based off of words, right? And you have this ability and authority to affect the words, and not just the words themselves, but also the words that mean the words, what those words that you're changing or affecting, what they actually mean. So you can go even deeper into your power of words. All right. So with that being said, once again, I really do appreciate you checking out the video. And I just ask that if you feel the information in the video is kosher, that you give it a like, comment, share, subscribe, whatever your heart desires. And if you want to keep up with me on any social medias, I'll put my my links in the description on YouTube. And as far as YouTube, when you subscribe, if you click the bell icon, YouTube will notify you whenever I post any new content. All right, so thanks again. I love you, and I'll see you when I see you.